Welcome to Howard Brown Online Barber College. This is our Master Educator Review. We're going to start off with communicating confidently. Let's begin. Sharing your knowledge with the students is what becoming a Master Educator is all about. But you can remain an ineffective educator if you cannot use a laptop computer, use a smartboard, recite the cranial nerves from memory, or effectively communicate. If you chose D, effectively communicate, you are correct. The transfer of information can occur in a variety of ways through the spoken or written word or non-verbally through, is it body language, gestures, facial expressions, or all of the above. If you chose D, all of the above, you are correct. Information that we send without the use of words is referred to as, is it Morse code, Braille, body language, or sign language? If you chose C, body language, you are correct. When nonverbal communication is added to spoken or verbal communication, the meaning is enhanced or changed. The meaning stays the same. The verbal communication says more, or the verbal communication makes no difference. If you chose A, the meaning is enhanced or changed, you are correct. The way the master educator packages the words of a message to the learner is called, is it coding, encoding, decoding, or receiving? If you chose B, encoding, you are correct. To complete the communication process, the receiver of the sender's information must be able to, is it code it, encode it, decode it, receive it? If you chose C, decode it, you are correct. Speaking does not necessarily mean we can communicate. Master educators will find communication barriers that can be classified as, is it physical, mental and emotional, cultural, or all of the above? If you chose D, all of the above, you are correct. A disturbing factor in the environment that prevents full communication, such as room temperature, noise, or distracting activities, is called a physical barrier, mental barrier, emotional barrier, cultural barrier. If you chose A, physical barrier, you are correct. An assumption made based on previous knowledge or experience by one party that the information would be dull would be referred to as a, is it physical barrier, mental barrier, emotional barrier, or cultural barrier? If you chose B, mental barrier, you are correct. Traditions, manners, and habits may create distance in a speaker-listener relationship. This is a physical barrier, mental barrier, emotional barrier, cultural barrier. If you chose D, cultural barrier, you are correct. Stress, worry, fear, anger, and prejudices can restrict effective communication. This is called a physical barrier, mental barrier, emotional barrier, cultural barrier. If you chose C, emotional barrier, you are correct. Research shows that only 7% of the message we want to communicate is accomplished through the words we speak. How we say the words determines 18%, 28%, 38%, 48%. If you chose C, 38%, you are correct. It is our appearance and posture, our facial expressions, our gestures, and our eye contact that comprise the remaining blank of our communication tools. 55%, 58%, 65%, 68%. If you chose A, 55%, you are correct. The way we say things will tell the listener what mood we are experiencing at the time. This fluctuation in our voice is known as, is it clarity, intonation, cadence, consonance? If you chose B, intonation, you are correct. Master educators know that the clarity of speech will greatly influence the effectiveness of our communication. Thus, we must make every effort to, is it articulate, emulate, have good pitch, be eloquent? If you chose A, articulate, you are correct. Students will model the educators, especially when learning terms that are not familiar to them. Therefore, we must pronounce our words correctly. This is intonation, cadence, enunciation, emphasis. If you chose C, enunciation, you are correct. We can determine people's state of mind from their facial expression, the way they drive, their walk, the way they stand. If you chose A, their facial expression, you are correct. When you see learners avoiding eye contact, they are playing shy. They don't want to be called on. They are going to surprise you with the right answer, or all of the above. If you chose B, they don't want to be called on, you are correct. Master educators will remember cultural differences such as the following. Looking down to avoid eye contact is just a habit. Some cultures find eye gazing disrespectful. Looking downward is a sign of respect. All of the above. If you chose C, looking downward is a sign of respect, you are correct. Teaching client consultation is one of the most important skills to facilitate. Students should learn that it does not matter where you do the client consultation as long as you do it. The styling mirror works fine because you can see the back of the client and also give makeup tips. They must use the mirror when doing client consultations. Face-to-face consultations will work best rather than consultations through the styling mirror. If you chose D, face-to-face consultations will work best rather than consultations through the styling mirror. You are correct. Now, master educators can use gestures in the classroom for clarity, for size or shape, for location, all of the above. If you chose D, all of the above, you are correct. When someone is standing too close, we get uncomfortable. The correct comfort zone for social distance, where the average person feels comfortable, is 12 to 18 inches, 18 to 24 inches, 24 to 30 inches, 30 to 36 inches. If you chose C, 24 to 30 inches, you are correct. We enter the intimate zone when we touch another person. This area extends 6 to 10 inches, 10 to 14 inches, 14 to 18 inches, 18 to 24 inches. If you chose B, 10 to 14 inches, you are correct. The two groups of body language postures are known as forward back and open closed, reflective reposed, combative reposed, reflective composed. If you chose A, forward, back, and open closed, you are correct. A person who is accepting the messages being sent with arms open and legs uncrossed is exhibiting forward back posture, open closed posture, forward open posture, back closed posture. If you chose B, open closed posture, you are correct. When the listener is leaning forward and pointing at the speaker, he or she is exhibiting forward back posture, open closed posture, open back posture, forward closed posture. If you chose A, forward back posture, you are correct. The open forward mode indicates the listener is actively engaged and it would be an appropriate time to close the sale. This body language is combative, fugitive, reflective, responsive. If you chose D, responsive, you are correct. People in the open back mode are interested and receptive, but not actively accepting the information. They are feeling combative, fugitive, reflective, responsive. If you chose C, reflective, you are correct. The closed back mode suggests that the listener is trying to escape. Use tactics to spark interest because the learner is feeling combative, fugitive, reflective, responsive. If you chose B, fugitive, you are correct. If the listener is likely to present active resistance and is closed forward, you will need to diffuse the anger and make every attempt to avoid a confrontation. This is definitely the combative mode, fugitive mode, reflective mode, responsive mode. If you chose A, combative mode, you are correct. To be an effective, active listener and benefit the learner, you will interrupt the speaker for clarification, focus on what is being said, and if your mind drifts, just look like you are listening. Reflect on what has been said and paraphrase it. All of the above. If you chose C, reflect on what has been said and paraphrase it, you are correct. The degree to which a person is open in his or her dealings with others is termed consequential, amenable, assertiveness, responsiveness. If you chose D, responsiveness, you are correct. A mode of communication that shows a degree of boldness or confidence in dealing with others is referred to as responsiveness, assertiveness, aggressiveness, proactiveness. If you chose B, assertiveness, you are correct. People who are guarded in their interaction with others are not outgoing, tend to be reserved in revealing personal information, and value self-control are referred to as achievers, relators, sellers, thinkers. If you chose D, thinkers, you are correct. These communicators score high in the self-control department and resist revealing too much information about the inner self. However, they are very assertive and express their expectations clearly. Achievers, relators, sellers, thinkers. If you chose A, achievers, you are correct. A person who often will tell you about accomplishments and ambitions and is warm and friendly is the communicator who is the achiever, the relator, the seller, the thinker. If you chose C, the seller, you are correct. Communicators who are less concerned about themselves than the receivers and will ask personal questions are known as achievers, relators, sellers, thinkers. If you chose B, relators, you are correct. Using what you know about communication styles will identify potential communication problems, lead to action to improve rapport with listeners, improve the quality of your communication, all of the above. If you chose D, all of the above, you are correct. A technique used to build rapport by being more alike in communication and imitating in some small, subtle instance another's behavior to create harmony is referred to as copying, mirroring, reflecting, resembling. If you chose B, mirroring, you are correct. The ways in which nonverbal communication can be mirrored include eye contact and posture, facial expressions, gestures, all of the above. If you chose D, all of the above, you are correct. When feeling self-conscious, a coping strategy is to concentrate on your purpose, take the focus off yourself, occupy yourself with a task, take deliberate control of your thoughts, all of the above. If you chose D, all of the above, you are correct. Learning to speak properly gives you a great deal of confidence. It also causes others to respect you, makes communication clearer, gives you self-respect, all of the above. If you chose D, all of the above, you are correct. To make classes more interesting, a master educator will become an accomplished storyteller by developing anecdotes, jokes, puns, one-liners. If you chose A, anecdotes, you are correct. Becoming a skilled communicator takes practice. Confidence builders include answer with a unique response, ask pleasing questions, talk less, listen more, all of the above. If you chose D, all of the above, you are correct. When communicating with others, interjecting phrases like, I agree, or yes, that's right, is a form of appeasement, positive reinforcement, capitulation, surrender. If you chose B, positive reinforcement, you are correct. Even though the school community is usually close-knit, it is important for you to be professional and get very tight-knit with personnel. Be professional and keep your distance. Be professional and maintain boundaries. Be professional and keep them guessing. If you chose C, be professional and maintain boundaries, you are correct. We cannot pick whom we work with. In all cases, we must come to the workplace and remain objective. Treat everyone with respect. Be honest and sensitive. All of the above. If you chose D, all of the above, you are correct. The individual who has the responsibility for daily maintenance and operation of the school and student and client service is the counselor, educator, manager, receptionist. If you chose C, manager, you are correct. When bringing an issue to the manager, bring some possible solutions along to indicate that you are working in the best interest of the school, are working toward a higher pay raise, are working at a possible change in job status, do not have much to do, and had lots of time to do research. If you chose A, are working in the best interest of the school, you are correct. Going to the manager with information that is not accurate is wasting time. When seeing the manager, get your facts straight, be open and honest, do not complain about colleagues, all of the above. If you chose D, all of the above, you are correct. This concludes this lesson. For more information on classes with Howard Brown Online Barber College, visit our website at howardbrownonline.com.